Hello everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up from Ohio, and I am here to bring you a video tonight on what I am calling quadrant stamping. And I want to show you what that's a little bit about, but first I'm going to just bring you up to date on some things. Stampin' Up's new catalog has gone live as of yesterday, our annual catalog. Lots of good stuff in it. If you do not have a demonstrator and would love a catalog, just let me know either in the comments or email me at ritaholmes0611@gmail.com and I would be happy to send you one. I also want to tell you that if you do place orders for Stampin' Up, whether with your demonstrator, me, or whoever, if you place a $250 order or above, you get an extra $25 in free product besides your hostess rewards. So it can add up to a lot of money. $250 of orders would give you $50 worth of free stuff. So just wanted to let you know that. Wanted to let you know that I have a Facebook group called Stamp Crazy VIP where I do videos every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, which are the videos I remake for here with stamping fun folds or techniques or whatever that we are going to do. And with that, I make a PDF and I stick it in the files section on my Facebook group, and that you can go and print off. And it does now. I used to not do it, but now I put the pictures of the card I'm doing. And here I actually put a couple extra pictures to show you what's going on with the quadrant stamping. So my files are over at Stamp Crazy VIP on Facebook. I do have a May host code if you would like to order from me for my online store at ritaholmes.stampinup.net and use this hostess code. I would appreciate it. If your order would be over $150, then I would rather you not use the host code so you can get your own benefits. And if you would also share my page just as you're watching it, and hopefully somebody that sees your share would like to watch my video. So I would like that also to give me a comment. I would prefer good ones, but if you have a bad one and you want to tell me something that I have done wrong or need to fix, you can let me know that also. I don't mind that a bit. So you can leave me a comment, you can give me a thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate it. So let me show you what quadrant stamping is all about. This is the cards we're going to be doing, and out of one piece of cardstock that we're going to stamp all at one time, we are going to get these 4 cards. And how they go together, I do believe is, let's see. Okay, there we go. These are going to go like this. And then this and this. Okay, I do think. No, not that. Never mind. It's going to go this way. Yep, that's that one. This way and this way. So anyway, when I stamp it, it's going to make more sense to you, but I am going to use, this is the very simplified version of doing that. All I did was use my cardstock, and then these are just 5 1/4 by 4 with no mat under them. And then I also put a white piece in the center and stamped on it. So that is what we're going to be doing, is this, but only in a different color. So we'll be showing you that. So let me show you a couple other ideas I did with that. Here's one with the Forever Fern stamp set. And getting these all to go the right way is just like crazy for me, but I'll try it. And that might go that way, and this one's this way. So, no. Anyway, I'm not going to put that one back together. You are going to see, but what I did on this is I stamped, and I actually cut this one 5 by 3 3/4 with a evergreen piece of cardstock in the soft succulent, and then I stamped on the inside. And I did that on all of these, and if you'll notice on these I put different colors of jewels on each one of them because it's all mainly done in green. And then the last one that I did was the Daisy Lane, and I stamped it. We'll see if we can get this one back together. May not, who knows. Is that one going to go there? I think that one's there, and this one's here. I knew this one. So that would be your quadrant there. And what I did with these is I stamped them, and then I went ahead and did the daisies and put them on with a dimensional to add a little bit of dimension to it, and I put a mat behind them and stamped on the inside of those also. So I think we can get started, and I'm going to do this through all of the steps so it'll make more sense to you when we do it. It's something like the split card technique that I did long time ago, where you stamped down the center and then cut it in half. This is kind of like that, but we're going to do it as a quadrant card. So let's get started with that. And the first thing we are going to need is either our paper trimmer with a scoring tool on it, or our simply scoring tool. So you can use either one that you want. I'm going to use this since it's smaller on my table right here. I took a piece of white cardstock, basic white, and I trimmed it down to 10.5 by 8. So when I eventually cut it, they will be 5 1/4 by 4. So what I'm going to do, since it's 10.5 and I want to go in the half mark, that would put me at 5 1/4. So I'm going to put that at 5 1/4, and I'm going to score it. And I like to run my scoring blade down a couple times. And then I'm going to turn this, and this is on the 8-inch side, so I'm going to put it at 4. Okay, and I'm going to score it. And with doing that, what we are going to see here, and it's hard to see with this being white cardstock, but you can see my quadrant starts right here. So there's my lines, so my 4 even pieces of cardstock, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp, and we're going to start out with our biggest stamp first, which is our greenery. So I'm going to use the greenery out of Positive Thoughts, which is this stamp set here that I'm using. I'm using the greenery, I'm using the flower, I'm using this little like embellishment, and I'm using these 2 sayings. And that's what we're going to be doing on all 4 of our cards, and then we'll add a few jewels. So let me open my stamp pad, and we are going to ink up our So Succulent ink, and I'm going to stamp this in the center going down that score line. So I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to do one up, and then I'm going to do one coming down. So that is basically my quadrant right there, stamped. If you get off of the lines, it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything to do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in because I want more greenery, and I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to stamp this a little bit higher up. And I know you can see it where it's overlapping right there, but that's okay. That's not going to hurt anything at all. And if you don't get them all even, that doesn't matter either, because you're making 4 different cards out of it, okay? So, let me put this last one in here. And I'm not worried about lining them all up the exact same way, because it's not going to matter in the big scheme of things here. Let me clean this stamp because it's awful juicy. And I don't want to lay anything in it because that's disastrous. And I'm really good for that kind of stuff. So, just going to take my chamois and wipe that off where it's got the ink on it a lot. Okay, so let's move that off to the side. We'll close up our green stamp pad. We don't need it right now. Then we're going to take our flower with our fresh freesia. Now these are 2 of the new in colors that's in the new catalog. And I'm going to stamp a flower right here in the center. And I know you're going to say, well, that looks kind of like crazy odd and all that stuff. But it'll make sense in a little bit. Because if you notice on my set of cards, here's the ones like we're doing, you'll see a little bit of that color down here. And that's where I stamped that flower in the middle of that stamp. Or in the middle of that cardstock. So, and that puts a little bit of color down there with that greenery. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink this up and I'm going to stamp. And there again, I am not going to care if they don't match on each quadrant. Because I'm not trying to make my cards exactly alike. I'm trying to make 4 cards quick. If that makes sense. This is the easiest way you can do this kind of card, is what I've done here, because that is basically all of your stamping except for your sentiment and that little embellishment stamp. So now we're going to move on to our next part. Let me put all these. Well, while I have that stamp pad out, what we're going to do is we are going to take and I'm going to go ahead and stamp, and it's not going to matter which corner I stamp these in. I can turn it, do whatever that I might need to. It doesn't matter what corner that it gets stamped in. So I'm going to stamp in different corners. Okay. So now we're done with that. Now we'll close that up, because we won't need it anymore. So let's wipe that stamp off. Now we're going to put these to the side. We're not going to need them for a few minutes. We're going to come back to this piece right here, and we're going to cut it for our cards. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my paper cutter back in, and I am going to use my cutting blade, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down here, and I'm going to put it at 5 1/4, and that should be around where my score line is, and it is. It's right there. Let me make sure we have that, and we do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to cut that down, that score line. Then I'm going to take each piece and I'm going to line this up at the 4-inch mark. Lay that down again. Do that on my 4-inch mark. I'm going to take and do this one the same way. Line it up at my 4-inch mark there. My score line's there in the center. And there we go. Now I have my 4 pieces of 5 1/4 by 4 to make my cards. Now this is where you can decide on how you want the layout. You know, do you want it this way, this way, this way? You know, you can take each piece and see what you want to do with it. And like I said, you don't have to match them up any certain way. I'll do that one that way, maybe that one that way, and this one this way. So now what I'm going to do, since I know how I want to put my cards together, I'm just going to move them over in the way I like them. And I'm going to bring my cards in, and I've got 4 pieces of 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to fold in half, and this is the soft succulent, which is one of the other new in colors. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold all of my cards, okay? So let's do that real quick. These cards really don't take long, and especially if you like had your cardstock all folded and stuff, but I just want to do that as in the video to show you exactly what I'm doing to make each card with these. Some people wonder why I use a Pampered Chef pot scrubber thing. Is because I love to use that as my bone folder. It's like my very favorite thing to use. I've used one for years, and it gives me a nice good crisp line. So okay, I'm going to turn these two this way because I'm going to put one here and one here. Okay, so let me get some glue out. And I hope I'm in camera. I keep forgetting to check. So I'm just going to glue this one down. Make sure I got it on the right fold. I've been known to make cards backwards. I know nobody does that but me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my inside that I'm going to put inside this card, and then this card will be ready just to have the sentiment put on it here in a second. When we get them all 4 done, we'll do that all 4 at the same time. So let's get that in there. So there, that one's done. I am going to use this one more time to kind of really, and that's how that card's going to go. So I'm going to sit it in the way I want it. This card is going to go this way. So we're going to take it, put some glue on it. These cards are super simple, super fast, and if you had, like if you needed to make a whole bunch of birthday cards or wanted to do like some card gifts of, you know, to give away sets of cards, this is the perfect way to do that. So and I'm going to put this one in this way. So there's that one. There again, I'm going to just give that a nice big score mark. Then I think I'll bring this one in, and it's going to go in the landscape orientation. So we'll put that on. We'll bring one of these in. So see how easy it is? I mean, talk about some quick cards. If you're a demonstrator and you're wanting to do some beginner type classes, this would be a great class to do. You know, if you want to show just quick and easy cards, this is a good one for that. There's so many good things about it. So that one's that way. Now here's our last one we're going to put on. And now let's put that last one on the inside. didn't put a whole lot of thought, like in the planning of the how it was going to go, and just stamping, you know, it's flowers and leaves, and they grow all which ways and stuff, so it makes it nice. Okay, so now we have all 4 cards done and ready for embellishments and our sayings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, I'm going to set them just the way that they're going, okay? So that I know this is how I want them to be when I stamp on them, okay? So I'm going to bring in my 2 sayings and my embellishment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the sentiments with my soft succulent color. So I'm just going to ink that up, making sure I get it inked. And this one is going to go up here because I have more room for it up here. So I'm making 2 of each one, and this one is going to go down here. Okay, there's that sentiment, which says sending positive thoughts and feel good wishes. And this one, I think I will stamp right here in the lower part. And this one will go up here. Okay, so there is the sayings. And now we're going to stamp that little embellishment, okay? And we're going to take the fresh freesia to do that. So what I'm going to do is just take and put that kind of in the center there. See how fast these go? It's my kind of card making. I love cards that take a lot of work and stuff, but when I want to make a lot of cards for something, this is my go-to type of card. Now the last thing we are going to do is I'm going to bring in my embellishments, and these are the new 2021-23 in color jewels. So I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put on, we're going to use a little bit of each one of them. So this one I think I'll just go ahead and put on the soft succulent color. So there's that one. We'll do another soft succulent one. And this one I'm going to use the bigger jewels on. So just to show you, you know, you can use the big ones, you can use the little ones. You can just do whatever you like, because that is all about the card making. So there's 2. Now we're going to switch over to the fresh freesia. And we're going to put some, there's that one, and then one more, we'll do the big ones on it. So, let's see what we're doing. See what we can get going on here. And let's see there. Okay. There we go. So that is, this pick tool is a great tool if you don't have one of those for doing your jewels. So there are our 4 cards. Let's get them up here together. And I'm putting them like this just because they look better to see that way. So there's our 4 cards, and we probably did those in less than a half hour for 4. So just remember your scoring measurements. If you want it 5, if your paper, your big piece of cardstock. If you want just this 5 1/4 by 4, you're going to cut your cardstock at 10 1/2 by 8. You're going to take a 1/2 inch off of each side and then score it 5 1/4 by 4. If you want to do this size, you are going to take your paper and cut it 10 by 7 1/2, and then you are going to score at 5, and then the other side at 3 3/4. And that's how these two were done, because I matted them like that. So that is just your easy way to do it. And you know, here's the color. This is Pear Pizzazz and Flirty Flamingo. On here I used Pear Pizzazz, Old Olive, Polished Pink, which is a new in color. And on here I goofed, I was watching TV. So we have this stamp, and this stamp is done in Soft Succulent, which it was supposed to have this evergreen color on here, but I did the wrong color. And then this one is mint macaron, and then these little dots are soft seafoam. And that's the colors that I used on all of the cards, so that you know that, and the measurements. So if you didn't catch the measurements, you can watch this back on replay, and you can pause it, get your measurements off of there. Or you can go over to Stamp Crazy VIP on Facebook page and print off the PDF, and it has everything right here, and then how exactly I made it and what everything was cut. And the picture's just showing the score lines here, what it looks like before you cut it up. And this flower that's in the center here that I said kind of looks goofy, putting it all in there at the beginning, just shows a little bit of color down here for your flowers. And it gives a little bit on each color if you, the way you've got it stamped and cut. Okay, so that is the end of that video, and I hope my video goes well. The last video I did was all broke up and didn't work right. I have to remake that video. I took it down. So I will check this video, and hopefully it's okay and you'll get to see it. So everyone, have a great day, evening, whatever time it is you're watching it. I am making this video at night, so hopefully you'll get to see it soon. So talk to you later, and have a great week or whatever. Bye.